Everyone makes fun of the exorcist until he has the devil inside. Father Gabriel Amorth, Exorcist. Demons and Evil Entities of the Lower Astral, Part 3. Hello again, thank you for joining me here once more. I hope you are all doing very well. I am Mari Swaruu. Focusing on only what you can perceive in the material world, the world of the living, is a perfectly valid approach to existence, and that is what the physical body is for, and that is to be a soul having a physical experience, focusing on only what the body can perceive. Even though ultimately speaking the physical world is nothing more than an illusion, as we are all always in the astral, it is reality while we are in a biological body. And having a physical approach to life and to everything that explains what goes on in it, is all there is for many people, especially for those who are caught in the materialism and determinism trap for the mind. But for many other people in the physical, that trap is just part of the game, of the test for their soul and their character, as the whole point of life is to remember who they truly are, as eternal souls. So, denying that at least some bad things happen because of the influence of lower astral entities, such as demons, is a valid point of view that I respect, but from my own, and that of many others as well, they are there, they are real even though we cannot see them directly, and they are responsible for much of the schisms in our lives and worlds. And the denial of their existence, as well as the mere concepts of materialism and determinism, spawn from the mind control those lower astral entities exert over those who live in the material world, and one of their strategies is to make everyone believe they don't even exist. They know anonymity is power, and that protects them from being exposed, confronted, and cancelled. That anonymity also helps perpetuate the sick dynamics living people are in, and from which they spawn as egregores. Living people manifest them as the materialization of the reflection of their greatest fears, and those feed from more of that fear, and also cause it so they will continue to be manifested, as a vicious circle the unaware humanity is trapped in. Each demon egregore is different and spawned from different reasons, and by different kinds of energy and how it was focused, therefore, they need more of the same to continue existing. This means that each demon has its specific vulnerabilities, depending on how it was manifested, which can be used against them, to eradicate them from our lives. Each person with a soul has their own approach to life, their unique set of experiences and how they interpret their reality, and this impacts on the kind of demons they attract or create. Therefore the physical appearance of each demon, or lower astral evil entity will be the result of how the person, or group of people who manifested them, see their own fears, how they interpret them and what faces they fear the most. In other words, demons look physically as their victim's imagination dictates to be the interpretation of their greatest fears. A demon looks exactly like the worst fears of who manifested them, collectively or individually. Although we mostly cannot see them directly, we can perceive and detect their presence, and their influence. Demons and lower astral dark entities, which from now on I will be calling them all simply demons, act upon living people in two main ways. From the inside of the victim or person, or from the outside of them, internal influence and external influence, all to bring the vibrational existence of the person down to be exploited by them, because if a person's frequency is above a certain threshold they become unreachable for the demons. As they cannot elevate their frequency, all they can do is try to bring their victims down to match theirs. Demons use hundreds of strategies and I can only describe and give you some of the most common ones. One of the strategies working from the inside of the individual they are targeting is temptation, and I describe it as continuously presenting things and situations that their victim consciously knows are harmful to them, but which can provide a temporary dopamine release at the cost of their health, or at the cost of their mental integrity and peace. Temptations caused by demonic influence can be very different and will depend on the victim's mentality, integrity, and specific weak points which the entity will exploit to its advantage. The most used one is sexual temptations and urges that the victim clearly and consciously knows he or she does not want. It is of the kind that goes against their principles, morality, and even sexual orientation, attacking the individual self-image, and these demonic temptations tend to be much stronger than the normal, healthy hormonal responses and sexual desires of the body, where the victims feel literally pulled by a force who drags them to do those things they consciously do not want. These also tend to be highly twisted and can be classified as perversions the victim does not want, and cannot explain why they are having those reactions, and the victim constantly has to fight against, consciously and with a lot of willpower, draining and in many cases stopping the normal healthy sexual reactions of the biological body in the process. People who succumb to these kinds of perversion and demonic influence may end up committing hideous acts of selfishness and crimes, and it ends up destroying their private lives and their families in the process. And in general, they will impose thoughts into the minds of their victims, thoughts and ideas that are tailored to their weaknesses, to influence them to fall into unwanted behaviors and acts that cause negative outcomes for them. You are not your thoughts, you are the pure and divine beings who watches them from behind. As I explained in my video about telepathic fields, thoughts many times do not come from the individual, and are the result of the thoughts within the dominant frequency of the field they live in. Individuals who live in an unhealthy society and environment, and among other people who are immersed in their big problems, will tend to feel the same way, and even will tend to have the same thought patterns, but tailored, or modified slightly to fit into the context of each individual. People live in a literal telepathic soup of frequencies, which is the result of the average of the rest of the individuals in its community, and we can also call this the collective unconscious, which is used by demons and lower astral entities to telepathically influence their victims. Although I do not fully agree with this statement, many demonologists state that if in your inner dialogue, you use the word we, instead of simply I, it means that some entity is with you and you are not alone. I mention this but I disagree, as I see many reasons why someone may use we, and not I, in their inner dialogue. So thoughts should be observed and not taken as what defines who you are, because they are largely shared thoughts with the rest of the people, and beings in the telepathic field you are immersed in. And those implanted thoughts may not necessarily come as voices in the victim's head, but mostly as simply thought patterns it feels are their own. When a person is highly evolved and very mentally and spiritually strong, it becomes inaccessible to the demons, so they cannot reach and lower that person's frequency directly. Many people are much-willed and have a strong aura protecting them. Their vibration is naturally very high and well above the reach of those entities even when they are at their emotionally lowest points. This is the case, especially for starseeds. Demons and lower astral entities realize they can't get to them directly, so they use other strategies to reach those enlightened individuals and lower their vibration to be exploited by them again. The most used strategy is to target a person, or multiple people who are close to the enlightened individual, who mean a lot to him or her, and cause a lot of problems in them, this way indirectly lowering the enlightened individual's vibration, as it is constantly in disarray, trying to solve their loved one's multiple problems. This is another reason why starseeds and enlightened individuals tend to have narcissistic family members who toxically try to influence their lives. Those individuals seldom change, if at all, as they constantly fall into the same negative behaviors, and the enlightened individual can do little to nothing to help them, as they continuously spiral down, pulling everyone else down as well. To be continued in part 4, which is the immediate next video. I would like to publish this part complete, but I cannot simply because I haven't finished writing it yet. Thank you for watching my video and for liking and subscribing for more if you feel this content is valuable to you. And I hope to see you here next time. Take care and be very well. With much love. Your friend, Mari Swaruu.